Hi everyone, my name is Cindy, and I'm going to present my project, Suara Nusantara. So, the goal of this project is to foster cross-cultural understanding and appreciation of Indonesia's linguistic and cultural diversity among Australian university students who are enrolled in Indonesian language unit. And the material I created also support my activity as an Indonesian language learning ambassador at the University of Sydney. Now, this project is based on the different needs that I've identified from previous discussions with various stakeholders and collaborators as well. From discussions with lecturers, tutors, and language ambassadors at the university, there was a need for an engaging learning experience that could address the multicultural nature of Indonesian society. And this is especially important as time and resources constraints may limit the existing lesson plan and materials to adjust to different cultures and languages of Indonesia in depth. Hence, the existing materials, which predominantly focus on the lexical and grammatical components of formal Bahasa Indonesia, can be enriched with supplementary activities that expose students to the different languages and cultures of Indonesia, which in reality always spill over to every Bahasa Indonesia use in Indonesian society. And in addition to that, from the student side, they acknowledge a limited exposure to and awareness of Indonesia's language and cultural diversity. And this needs to be addressed because the students involved in this unit, they already have deep interest in learning about the diverse cultures of Indonesia. And it goes beyond the Bahasa Indonesia language itself. So based on those needs, I've developed a regional song booklet, which is titled Suara Nusantara. And you can access the digital version by scanning the QR code here. I'll give you the time to scan, but I will also be taking you to a read-through of the booklet. So this is the booklet, and this is the cover, Suara Nusantara, which means the sound of Nusantara. Nusantara is another name for Indonesia. And the subtitle here reads The Harmony of Indonesia's Diversity. And the first page has Indonesia's motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means unity in diversity. And this is our background page, as well as notes for teachers and learners so that they could replicate or reuse this material. Now, we start off with the introduction page, which has a brief explanation of Indonesia's multilingual society. Here, it has data of Indonesia's many languages, like how many languages there are in certain regions. And then also we have a video of Indonesia's regional songs medley. And this is by Indonesia's content creator, Byram, titled Wonderland Indonesia. Now, as this booklet is informed by Martin and Rose's teaching learning cycle, this introduction page provides the field building to ease students into the unfamiliar topic of the different languages of Indonesia that they'll be engaging in this lesson or in this material. And because this is a digital booklet, you can actually play the media directly just by clicking. So this also eases the students to engage directly with the material. And then we go to the main content of this booklet, which are the song pages. So there are a total of 5 songs from 5 different regions, featuring, of course, different languages. And not only is this used for guided exploration of the language through the lyrics here, so it features the lyrics in its original language here and the translation in Bahasa Indonesia to help students understand, as well as the vocabulary list here. It also showcases the linguistic features of the language through language exercises that help students understand the different influences these regional languages might have to everyday Indonesian use by speakers from these regions. And it also has trivia related to the culture or the region where the song came from. And this is to integrate intercultural competence by including cultural context, prompting students to compare with their cultures and reflect on the learnings from the discussion prompts here, from the song meaning explanation here. And this is actually based on Byram's intercultural communicative competence model. And to note, the language exercise here is actually inspired by a PDA I've done on a previous successful project called Let the Sasang Song Guide You, which is actually a material developed by Santiago Spina for her Credible project and for the Language Travels program. So on each song page, it features similar or basically the same components, which cover the lyrics here, the vocabulary list here, trivia relating to the culture or region and the song meaning, as well as discussion prompts or questions related to the song lyrics. Now, after all the song pages, the end of the booklet is actually a medley page, and this is for the joint and independent construction. So singing together could consolidate pronunciation, vocabulary, and cultural understanding, while the fill-in activity will reinforce linguistic recall in a more fun and immersive way. So this material has been used in classroom activity at the University of Sydney, and it was used for Indonesian 3B class, which is for the more advanced level students. And it's implemented in 4 sessions of 30 minutes each, covering an introductory session, 2 main singing along sessions, and a final wrap-up session. So the implementation itself started with the introduction and song mapping activity, which focused more on familiarizing the students with the different languages that we were going to go through for the following sessions. And this activity was based on the first 2 pages of the booklet. And it was guided with an interactive classroom activity where I adapted the material to suit the class dynamic at that time to make it more engaging based on the material. And these activities were song title guessing and song mapping from the medley video featured in the booklet. And in the next 2 sessions, we had the students learn about the 5 songs in the booklet and sang them with us and sang them themselves too. This session started by easing students into the teaching learning cycle by using 1 song at first, which was Cik Cik Periuk, and into the next session, which further exposed them to the more diverse regional languages with co-facilitators who were also Indonesian language learning ambassadors at the university, who also happen to be members of different cultural communities and who I consult with for the song pages in the material. So we put the students into 5 different groups, and we had one co-facilitator as the mentor to teach 1 song or 1 language for each group. So this material development and overall project showed me that learnings extend and expand beyond the language classrooms, such as community involvement and collaboration, which shows empowerment through reconnection with cultural roots. Because the collaborators, who were these facilitators and language ambassadors, they also happen to learn about their own culture and their own language through my discussions with them in developing the material and activity. And there's also representation in voices because the learning material represents different cultures with respect through consultation with community members. And then there's a fostering of intercultural awareness through the interactive lesson activities. But the main takeaway that I got from this project is that the teaching learning cycle can happen on every phase during the process of developing this material, and even beyond that. When we develop the song pages, I myself learn from my collaborators about their own cultures through their chosen songs. And in a way, they implemented their own version of teaching learning cycle to me so that I could understand the song and the context. The potential for future development and use, I am currently developing a template version of the booklet page for Indonesian teachers and lecturers to use or to replicate or to update in the future. And this will be accessible via Canva. So there will be additional pages to the shareable book design that I already have in Canva to be used by them. In summary, this has been a credible project because it responds to the real need for authentic intercultural learning in Indonesian language class at university level in Australia. It also involves co-designing with diverse collaborators and stakeholders so that the material has learnings that are informed by real lived experiences as well as different perspectives. And it offers a replicable model for a participatory and culturally grounded language learning that would strengthen not only linguistic proficiency, but also intercultural competence. And that is all for my project. Thank you.